What is up, YouTube? Today we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin, and I am going to be giving you my thoughts on what is going on in the market right now, backed by some on-chain analysis and some fundamentals. And then we're going to be taking a look at the charts, and I'm going to give you a brief overview of what is going on. So let's jump straight into it. So starting off with some supply liquidity. This chart basically shows you from the last year to now the amount of Bitcoin that has been taken off of the exchanges and taken or added onto the exchanges. So as you can see, back in last year in May and June, we saw a huge amount of BTC being taken off of the exchanges. Then we saw a little bit 50K, about 50K or so across like a month span being added back. And again, we saw a huge amount of BTC being taken off from all the way from August to December. And then we saw a little bit put back, most likely to be sold. But again, we've been seeing a huge amount of BTC this year as well, all the way from Jan to April being taken off of the exchanges. We are seeing almost 150K BTC on the daily being taken off. We've also reached our highest all-time high on basically towards the end of Jan, around 170K. And yesterday we hit 150K taken off of exchanges again. Again, this is a collective of exchanges, not one typical exchange. So this clearly shows you that there is liquidity been taken off of the exchange. Well, not liquidity, but it's more like the supply has been decreasing as price keeps increasing. So what does this show you? This shows you a basic supply and demand graph that shows you the supply is being taken off exchanges as price increases. Demand as well has been increasing. So this is one key point for my analysis. Next, we are also looking at miners and what they have been doing. As you can see, since November, miners were pretty neutral. They were doing some selling, some buying, and well, not buying, some accumulating, some selling. Then we saw a huge amount of selling from miners all the way from December to February on the price run up, which is pretty normal. Miners usually tend to sell on the price running up, and they accumulate when they don't think it's worth. Due to different reasons, due to mining, the difficulty for the computation, hash rate, etc. There are a lot of reasons that miners sell and buy. It's not exactly determined that they're selling at the best price or the buying at the best price, but this is another key factor to be watching. As you can see right now, since the start of April, miners have been accumulating. They have been accumulating approximately 5K BTC per day. Again, this is a key factor for me, and I'm going to be explaining why. Yesterday, we also saw the largest spike in stable coins being put onto exchanges. So what does this mean? Stable coins are basically USDT, USD, USDC, basically all the regular currencies. And we saw about 46 billion being added to exchanges. Of course, yesterday was an amazing day to buy the dip. Yesterday, I mean this entire week basically, because we went all the way down to 47,000. So for $46 billion were added onto exchanges to mostly buy the dip. Next, we are also seeing this is the chart that shows you all the wallets that I've entered since November basically on this chart, and till now all the new wallets. This shows you a collective basically. On 25th Jan, we saw this line over here is a neutral, and anything above it is profit, anything below is a loss. So on 25th Jan, we saw almost all the new wallets and the collective of wallets being on a almost zero profit or loss. Then back in this was when price made a super low and then had a huge run up. Next on the end of Feb, we saw when price hit 43,000, we saw again almost all the wallets being in a net loss, and then we saw a huge run up. Now again we are seeing Price reached 47,000. We are seeing a net loss on almost all of the wallets on the blockchain, close to this level, but not as low as that, but still lower than our 25th Jan level, which when price was around 36K. Now at 47K, we've seen a huge, basically almost all the wallets being at a net loss. This is again another important key factor for me. Now we are also seeing a huge flush in the market. Of course, we had about 10 billion dollars in liquidations, and again yesterday we had almost $1 billion in liquidations. So we are seeing a huge flush of the market, and almost everyone has been liquidated. Well, everybody who's over leveraged, of course, has been liquidated. So the market has flushed out all the greedy traders, all the over leveraged traders, and this could be another good sign. Why? Because the funding rates right now are, they're basically paying you to long, and they are charging you to short. So before this, all the way since March and even before March, we've seen, high funding rates of almost 0.1%. That is pretty crazy to be imagining. But right now we are being paid to go long. you know Now getting back to Bitcoin and its cycle. Now, if you've been part of the previous bull runs, you already know this. Bitcoin doesn't go up in a straight line, which people think it's up only, but that is not the case. Bitcoin has waves basically. So it's a run up and then a pullback and then another run up. But of course, past price action doesn't define the present, but we can look towards this and look at the patterns that BTC follows. So as you can see, back in 2012, BTC made a huge bull run up and then had a consolidation and a pullback. And we saw, well, not a consolidation, a pullback. And then we saw price make another huge push up back to crazy levels. We saw that again in 2016, the 2016-2017 bull run where price made a huge run up. It had a pullback and another run up back to 18,000, 19,000 levels. This year, we are also seeing this straight from our 10K levels, prices making a run up. We are, if not on time, we are pretty much at the exact same time this has happened last time. Price has also pulled back, and now will we run back up to 100K? I definitely think so. But do your own research. Don't listen to me. This is not financial advice, obviously. But yeah. So there we go. Now let me show you some pretty insane data that is also going to blow your mind. Now, if you look at the level that we bounced off of, now taking a look at some on-chain data, there are three key candles over here. This was posted by William Clement, and he is pretty amazing at his stuff. So he pointed this out on Twitter. He says a solid retest of that 47K level. We just need to hold these levels. Keep an eye open. Just keeping eyes open at this point. So what is he trying to show us? He's trying to show us that 47K, 52K, and 55K have been huge volume spikes of levels where a lot of BTC was exchanged and traded. 55K, 52K, and 47K. Now, where did price bounce off of? 47,243 is the exact level. Where do you think price bounced off of? We literally bounced off of 47,484. If you look at this, 47,240, that is $200, $200 difference. That is quite crazy. So clearly this level is another important level for us to be watching. And 47,500 is one of the most key levels that you're going to be watching this week and the coming weeks, at least in my opinion, because as long as this level holds, a lot of people who bought here, especially the larger wallets, are not going to be trying to give this level up so easily. But putting that into some, apart from the charts, let me just go through a quick summary. So we are seeing supply reduce on exchanges, bullish. Miners accumulating, bullish. A huge amount of inflow in terms of stable coins, bullish. Almost all the wallets being negative right now, bullish. But our futures contracts, having negative funding for longs, bullish. Again, bouncing off of key support levels on the on-chain charts. This just shows me that if the bottom is not in yet, we could be extremely close to it again. I personally don't think the bear market has started yet. Of course, BTC can go sideways and stable out, but this pullback to me is more than welcome, because this only gets us it only becomes better for us in the long term to get to our levels, especially if you're here for the long term. But if you're new to crypto and you didn't expect price to go from 64 to 47 in a week, well, that's just crypto, and welcome to crypto. But yeah, let's just jump straight into the charts right now. I've given you my thoughts on some fundamentals and why I think supply reducing. I mean, of course, like, so when the supply reduces, you're going to have lesser coins on the exchanges. As supply decreases, the demand also increases, and obviously pushing price higher. When miners are accumulating and they're not interested in selling at these levels, why exactly are you selling? Try to think about it. Like, who are you selling to, and who is buying your Bitcoin at these levels? So, since we've had a huge market flush, of basically everybody being either over leveraged, with clearly showing us the funding rates, or everybody being in a loss right now, it is not it is not out of the blue for Bitcoin to do this. I mean, Bitcoin has done this so many times. I hope I gave you guys a quick, quick. Obviously, it was pretty long, but I hope I gave you guys a quick overview of what is going on right now. I am currently still waiting for confirmation on my ABC wave, which would basically give me a better understanding and some more confluence to look at before taking up any new positions. And since we are also bouncing off of the 100 MA, I don't expect us, if we do fall, to just go straight down there, because obviously we've had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 green candle, 5, 6, 7, 8, potentially 9 red candles on the way down. We have not seen this in a long time. What is the probability that the next candle is going to be red without a potential bounce here? I think the possibility that we have at least reached a local bottom is higher, especially putting that into confluence with all the data that I just showed you, like the supply, the miners accumulating, and all the stuff, especially the buying the dip with the stable coins inflow, negative overall profits on almost all the wallets, and negative exchange funding rates, and especially this key level of support that I showed you, 47,500. As long as this level is held, personally, I think that is the most important level to be watching this week. I think this is pretty bullish. At least this is a local top, a local bottom. And of course, it's very detailed, and usually I don't go into so much detail, but yeah. So I hope you guys like this video. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. And I post videos every day, and if you're interested in watching more, please feel free to subscribe to my channel, and give me a comment, because that of course helps this channel out a lot. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.